What's good, YouTube? Here to bring you my Traptrix deck that I've been using at the 4 Attribute Festival. I know we get future support for Traptrix, but they're still good for this festival with their current cards, so let's just get right into the deck list. So starting off, we got 2 Maxis and 2 Ash Blossoms. Now we're running 2 of each instead of 3 because with the Traptrix decks, we really want to let our trap cards do the work so we don't have a necessity for using the hand traps. So for that reason, we're running 2 of each. Next, we got 3 Myrmelio. This is probably the best Traptrix monster to normal summon because on normal summon, you get to add 1 whole normal trap from your deck to your hand. Also, if this card was special summon, you get to target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy that target. So, overall, best card. Usually want to open up with this. Next, we got Traptrix Diane. This card is usually just a follow-up play. We don't really want to open up with this because you can't really gain advantage. Its effect allows you to target 1 Traptrix monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. So usually it pairs well if you have Myrmelio in the grave already because you can special summon that card and then pop a spell or trap that your opponent controls. And its special summon effect allows you to target 1 whole normal trap in your graveyard and set that, so helps with that. Again, like this card is only really used when you're already in the game, not when you playing turn 1, maybe turn 3 even, but like yeah, you just don't want to open up with this card. But if worst comes to worst, you could still normal summon it for your Link 1. Next, we got Traptrix Mantis, the second best Traptrix monster we have because on normal summon you get to add any Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand. So usually you would want to go. You can like help gain your resources with Traptrix Myrmelio for your next turn or Diane. But usually you would want to go for the next card, which is the Traptrix Vesiculo, which is just a bit basically an extension card because you can send 1 set trap card you control to the graveyard to special summon this card. So if like any of your Traptrix cards get disrupted or anything and you can't go into your Link 1 and you have this in hand, you can basically sacrifice 1 of your set trap cards to special summon this and still go into your Link 1 plays. So yeah, for that reason I run 2. I think 3 is a little too much. Next we have 2 Parallel Exceeds. This is to go into our rank 4s because with our Link 1 being Traptrix Sarah and having a down arrow, we're able to special summon both Parallel Exceeds and you can utilize any of your rank 4s that we'll get into in a little bit. Next, we got Pot of Prosperity. This is just a consistency card to make sure we either open up 1 Traptrix monster or we have a ton of monsters to at least get a trap card or for whatever the situation calls for. So yeah, just a great consistency card. Next, we got 3 Torrential Tributes. Probably the best trap card that Traptrix specifically love because all their extra deck monsters are immune to trap cards. So you're basically just going to be wiping your opponent's board and not your own. So yeah, just a great card for this deck. Next, we got Bottomless Trap Hole. This is when your opponent summons a monster with 1500 attack or more. You can destroy that monster and then banish it, which still comes up. I feel like that this card is still underrated, where people would like normal summon like a high attack monster, even special summoning it, just get rid of it and banishing it. I think it still comes up in certain matchups. People don't like when their cards are banished, so yeah, overall just a great card still. Next, we got 3 Compulse Evacuation Device. Best generic removal because you get to bounce any monster on the field from field to hand. So just great of like activating it at any time when the situation calls for it. Next, we got Starlight Road. This is to protect our back row from like Harpy's Feather Duster or Lightning Storm because those cards are definitely still present in this festival. So we just want to secure that. Also because Traptrix just have like a hard time pushing for game. Just getting the Stardust off of the Starlight Road is very helpful to gain the extra damage. Next, we got Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. This is basically when a monster that was special summoned this turn activates effect on your opponent's field, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy it. I find it to be a pretty decent card still because all the time when your opponents are special summoning a monster, it's going to be activating their effect, so you get to just negate and destroy that. Next, we got 3 Phantom Knights of the Shade Brigandine. This is just the best extension play for Traptrix. It allows us to do our combo because when getting into like Sarah, when a trap card's activated, you get to activate her other effects, which just extends plays. And every time you open this card with a Traptrix monster, you'll definitely be ending on Sarah and basically rank 4. Next, we got 2 Evenly Matches. This is for when we go second. This is just a blowout card basically because a lot of decks will just forfeit if this resolves. So for that reason, we run it. Next we have Infinite Impermanence. This is for monster negation. Next we got 3 Gravedigger's Trap Hold. This is for when your opponent activates a monster effect in their hand or grave, or even banish. You can just negate that. So I find that to be the best because of all the current hand traps like Max C and Ash Blossom still being legal. Like, you'll definitely be activating this card, and even against like a lot of the strong decks in this format, for example like Salamangreats, they activate a lot of cards in their hand and in their graveyard, so you'll definitely be resolving this card a lot. Next, we got Ice Dragon's Prism. This is a very strong card for mono-type decks that you're going against. So, for example, Salamangreat again, they are all Cybers. Same thing with Marincess. I know a lot of people have been seeing that, so this is just a great card against that matchup. Finally, we have Solemn Judgment. This is for negating any card on the field. Mostly we want to use it to protect back row, but if the situation calls for it, you would negate like a monster summon if you're going to be winning next turn, if you just negate that summon. So yeah, on to the extra deck. We got Stardust Dragon. This is just to be paired up with our Starlight Road. We got one Abyss Dweller if we're going against a graveyard heavy deck. Next is number 101 Silent Honor Arc. You can use this to absorb any attack position monster, so which is good removal on that end. And speaking of removal options, we got Castell, which is basically a great removal option because it shuffles back any face-up card on the field. Next, we got 2 Traptrix Rafflesia. This is basically the best Traptrix rank monster we got because it allows us to basically battle protect our monsters, which is very important, which I'll mention in a bit, and also because you can activate any of the trap cards you have in your deck by sending them to the grave, and you can basically utilize it. So overall, just a great card. You usually always want to go into this in your first turn. Next, we got Baguska. This is just generic monster negation because when you put it in defense, your opponent can't activate their monster effects. Next, we got Traptrix Alamoris. This is not that great of a card, honestly. I'll be honest with you, because it just basically special summons one level 4 insect or plant monster from your grave, which is decent if like you need like Mermelio's special summon popping a spell and trap effect, or if you needed to set a trap hole card with this card, then it helps. But other than that, it doesn't really come up. I barely use it. Also, its other effect is really irrelevant. I've never activated that effect, I'll be honest. So, yeah, for that, I still run 1, but if I had the option to replace it with a better card, I would. Next, we got Link Spider. This is specifically if we have the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandee paired up with Parallel Exceed, because the Brigandee card is treated as a normal monster, which is the requirement for Link Spider, and Link Spider has a down arrow as well, and then with the down arrow you get to activate Parallel Exceed, and then you get to go into any rank 4, so usually you would either go into Rafflesia or you would go into Baguska, so that's like the sole reason. It's still like it's a great card to have in any Traptrix deck. Next we got Traptrix Sierra, the star of the whole Traptrix archetype, the whole reason we run this deck. This basically does everything the archetype needs. It's a Link 1, so that's what already crazy enough. Next, if it's a normal trap card is activated, you can special summon a Traptrix monster, so you get to activate any of the Traptrix special summon effects, which is usually just Mermelios. And then when those activate, because Mermelios is a mandatory effect, you get to set one whole normal trap directly from your deck. So you just get to set up with your board very nicely. So yeah, if I could, I would run 3, but your boy doesn't want to craft a third one for just this festival, so I'm sticking with 2. Next we got Nightmare Phoenix. This is generic back row removal. And next we got Traptrix Cularia. This card is pretty decent. It's kind of a win more card because you basically only get to reuse your trap cards, which again, if you already have like a field full of trap hole cards, you can it's great for that, but it doesn't like help you gain advantage. It helps you just basically maintain your status of like where you currently are in the board state. And also during your end phase, you can target one Traptrix monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense. Again, like it's not that great. It's a little too slow because it's at the end phase. I guess it will work if you have Mermelio or the Diana. It's like not enough. And speaking of not enough, we have Blacklisted Soldier. We just have this for our Link 3. Again, it's like a win more card. If we're already like, if we have like a swarm of Traptrix monster on field, then we go into this. And then finally we have Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. Again, just if we're winning already, this just secures our game state. So that's it for our deck list, and there's just some cards I just want to mention for this build, like for example Tornado Dragon for your rank 4s. I'll display it on the screen here, but it's just a great rank 4 because you can quick effect destroy any spell and trap cards your opponent controls, so it's just great with that, especially if you know you're going against like a back row heavy deck. And speaking of back row hate, we have Heavy Duster Storm. If you find yourself playing against a lot of back rows, because you can basically 1 for 2 with the card because you destroyed 2 spell or trap cards and just at the cost of your battle phase, but you usually want to be activating that on your opponent's turn. So yeah, just a great card for this archetype as well. Now with all that being said, let's get into the deck replays. So for our first replay, we're going against Sword Soul Tenyi, and this is their deck list. So in this match, I end up going first, and I opened up Mermelio. Again, best starter in the deck because you get to search the bottomless trap hole. Just going to set that just in case he was able to disrupt this play, which probably wasn't likely to happen. But yeah, just a great hand. You're going to see right here how Sarah just carries the whole match. Right here, I get to see that they're playing Sword Soul. They had the droplet, so they're about to negate my Sarah, which is very unfortunate, so we don't get the negation effect. And basically, we're going to lose it with the Torrential Tribute. They're going to search Yugioh, the Pot of Desires. So now they quickly caught up with card advantage with that. They have the Moye. We're going to let that resolve. Now here, technically, I could have Torrentialed and prevented them from having something, but I felt like I could have got more value, and I thought he was going to be a little more greedy with his Yugioh, so I just let this resolve. Now he activates Vessel for the Dragon, gets one of the Tenyi monsters. Now I wasn't too familiar with the Sword Souls, how they were playing this event, so this was my mistake, realizing that they had the Adamantipator Dragite, so I kind of misplayed here by like letting that resolve. But now I know, and with the Moye activating the graveyard, get to activate the Grave Diggers. I remember I used this to bait out the Dragite's negation ability, but he doesn't let it go, so we just let that be. Here the Sword Soul Yugioh activates effect at Torrential Tribute. I'm going to have to go 2 Torrential Tributes in order to wipe out the board with that. Right, so clear up the board like that. I'm kind of down on an advantage. He just sets. And perfectly, I drew another Mermelio. So we're going to build up that advantage. Fortunately, he has the Call by the Grave, so this is going to negate its effect. Which is still fine by me because going for the damage, then main phase 2, we go into the Link 1 Sarah. And I believe this will be enough because if we get to resolve this bottomless trap hole, then we get to basically do the rest of its Sarah's effect. Right, so because of the trap card activating, we get to special summon a Traptrix monster. I activate Diane, which is basically going to get me another trap hole card to my field. And then Sarah's effect activates again, and then yeah, I get another trap monster. So that's it for that replay. And for our final replay, we're actually going against another Sword Soul deck that we went against. And yeah, let's just get into that. So yeah, we get to go first again. We got a Traptrix monster with a bunch of just hand traps and trap cards, so this is a pretty good hand right here. Yeah, for the Tenyi deck, we have the Maxi. He has the Call by the Grave. We're going to solemn that because I know Sword Souls likes to special summon a lot, as we learned from our last game. He's just going to pass on the one summon, draw another trap card. Perfectly, we draw Mantis. Mantis is going to get us another monster. He has the Ash Blossom to negate that, but we have the Gravedigger's Trap Hole, because like I said, we're always going to be activating that with the plethora of Ash Blossoms and Maxis that are in this format. So we get our monster, get to activate both of Sarah's effects, get to bring back the Gravediggers. That's usually the best card you want to bring back with Deanna. I'm probably butchering the crap out of her name, but it's whatever. So yeah, that 0 defense, so go for the weakest monster. The other 2 monsters, just to do a bunch of damage. Then Rafflesia. Now I know because they're Sword Soul deck, they activate a lot of their effects in hands, like the Tenyis and Long Young. So I just know these two Gravedigger's Trap Hole is gonna lock them out. It's gonna be game just off of those two cards. So yeah, let's see here. They activate Taie, the Bottomless Trap Hole, and they just saw it. They had no other plays. So yeah, that was just game. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.